Bhakti Yoga, the science of emotions culture. Among the four streams of yoga, Jnana Yoga, Raj Yoga, Bhakti Yoga and Karma Yoga, Bhakti Yoga is the most important need in the modern times. Because we don't have this component in our education system. Jnana Yoga is the path of intellect, analysis. We use the intellect to go to the very source from where the discrimination power enters, comes from. In Raj Yoga, it is the path of willpower. We use our willpower to shape the mind, to focus the mind, defocus the mind, expand the mind, and go to the source from where all thoughts arise. At the Patanjali Yoga or the Raj Yoga. In Karma Yoga, we learn the art of converting every action into a yoga. Even walking, eating, drinking, sitting, standing, everything should be converted into yoga. Is it ever possible? Krishna says yes. Pashyan, Shunvan, Sprishan, Jigran, Ashnan, Gachan, Swapan, Shasan, Visrujan, Grunhan, Munmishan, Nimishan, Napi. Walking, eating, drinking, excreting, urinating, even winking of the eyes, everything should become a yoga. That secret is the Karma Yoga, the path of action, secret of action. And all paths lead to the same goal. Whether you work with the intellect or emotions or willpower or action leading, everything leads to the same goal. What is that goal? It is called moksha. Moksha means absolute freedom. Freedom from what? Freedom from all tensions and stresses. Freedom from all diseases. Freedom from all bondages. Bondage of the mind, bondage of the emotions, bondage of the intellect, bondage of the whole body, the bondage of the cycle of birth and death. That is the most coveted thing. Our ancient yoga masters and spiritual saints were not happy if they had all the wealth of the world. If they are a millionaire, a billionaire, a trillionaire. No, that's not enough. We want infinite happiness, infinite bliss, infinite power, infinite knowledge. That is called moksha. Is it possible? Upanishad says yes. Atra Brahma Samushnute. Right here you can get that. How? Use any of these paths. In the path of emotion culture or Bhakti Yoga, we have to gain mastery over the emotions. Unfortunately, in the whole of education system, there is no component to deal with our emotions. So when you encounter demanding situations, somebody comes and scolds you, somebody makes a very strong remark, you are totally upset. And somebody particularly blames you for no fault of yours. Then you rage against them. You become so angry, so upset. And when your ego is hurt, then you get so upset. Particularly in a group, if somebody makes a remark which hits your ego, you become so angry about the person. And you may become so disturbed that you may start suffering from various ailments and you may be admitted to a hospital, or even you go and commit a suicide, or you may commit even a murder on the other side. Why? Because we don't know how to control our emotions. When you encounter different situations, events, persons and demanding situations from outside, you must know how to deal with that. That is what the Bhakti Yoga teaches us. This has to be taught right from our childhood. In our whole education system, starting from primary school, middle school, high school, college, everywhere we should teach that and we should start practicing. The modern education system developed the capacity to sharpen the mind, make the mind sharper, brilliant, intellectual dimension, understanding, deeper understanding, sharper intellect, brilliant intellect, dynamism, all that we have been doing. But what about emotions? Big zero. That's why I say that the Bhakti Yoga is the most important thing in our education system. Okay? How to do that? Krishna gives the whole picture through the Bhakti Yoga. This schematic gives you the whole spectrum of Bhakti Yoga. First he says, you must recognize your strengths and weaknesses. Just like in any management system, we have the SWOT analysis, strength and weakness analysis. Similarly, this system which we have, which is managed so beautifully and wonderfully by our thing, we have to understand what is our strength, what is our weakness. The strength is called the Daivi Sampat. The weaknesses are called the Asuri Sampat. The positive emotions and the negative emotions. The cultured and softer emotions and violent, uncontrolled emotions. So Krishna describes what are these emotions? What are these qualities of the Daivi Sampat? What are the qualities of the Asuri Sampat? Kama, Krodha, Lobha, Moha, Mada, Matsarya. Anger, greed, jealousy, hatred, infatuation, arrogance, all come under the Daivi Sampat, the violent emotions, the negative emotions, Asuri Sampat. What are your good qualities? Compassion and love, service for others, giving and giving for everybody, and less for me, more and more for others, and control over the senses, and love and compassion, magnanimity, acceptance, tolerance, respect. All these good qualities are called the Daivi Sampat. He says you have to recognize how much of good you have, how much of bad you have. This is the SWOT analysis. Recognition is half the solution. Unless we recognize, we will not be able to improve, we will not be able to change. Therefore, Krishna says the first step in Bhakti Yoga is to recognize the good and the bad. Many people have some wrong notions. Bhakti Yoga means you must have total faith in God. You must go to the temple regularly or the church for the marks regularly. Otherwise you cannot be a Bhakti person. You cannot practice Bhakti. So Krishna broadens the whole perspective of Bhakti Yoga. He says, you may have faith, you may not have faith. If you have faith, good. If you don't have faith, equally alright. You can be a Nastika. You may not believe in God. Still you can be very great Bhakta. You can be highly advanced in the Bhakti Yoga. Therefore, we have to recognize the dimensions. Then he takes the question, why do you call this Daivi Sampat as good? Why do you call this Asuri Sampat as bad? What is the definition of good and bad? He says, Daivi Sampat Vimokshaya, Nibandhaya Asuri Mata, he said. All those qualities which help you to go to this highest level of moksha, all those qualities which help you to free yourself from the bondage of tensions, stresses, diseases and bondages. Those are the qualities which are called as good qualities, they are called the Daivi Sampat. All those qualities which make you down, go down, drown yourself, enslave you, make you suffer more and more, which brings you tension, stress, diseases, dukkha, misery. They are called the Asuri Sampat. This is how we have to judge what is good, what is bad. Any quality within you which helps you to become more and more free, which helps you to come away from tensions and stresses, come away from all diseases, come away from all bondages, they are called the good qualities. Daivi Sampat Vimokshaya. They help you to go higher and higher. And Krishna says that yes, as human beings, we all possess that freedom. You can go this way or you can go this way. So which way you want to go? Choose. Yethechasi tatha kuru. Having told everything to Arjuna, finally he says, okay Arjuna, I have told you everything, now you do the way that you want. Yatha ichchasi tatha kuru. In whatever way you desire now, do the things. So this is what Krishna tells us. I am telling you, these are the ones that makes you more and more happy, more and more blissful, more and more powerful, more and more towards more and more knowledge, and makes you free. These are the ones which make you become more and more miserable, more and more tension, more and more stresses, more and more diseases. Choose whichever you want. No? So crystal clear in Krishna's name. So obviously he is telling that come up. Uddharet atmana atmanam na atmanam avasadayet. He says, your human life is very precious, my dear. Don't waste your life. Change yourself. Go in the right direction. Uddharet atmana atmanam. You elevate yourself. Move yourself to higher and higher levels. From normal human beings, you become great, super, divine human beings. That is what God tells us. And don't deteriorate yourself. From normal level, you become like animals, worst animals. Though you have a choice, should we not choose this? When you choose this, it becomes yoga. That's the first thing. Recognition is half the solution. Having determined, yes, I am going to develop, what is to be done? Consciously we must change ourselves. Consciously we elevate ourselves. How? Start practicing the good qualities. The three good qualities, upon said dana, daya, dama. Dana is giving. Daya is love and compassion. Dama is control over the senses. These are the things that we have to practice. Very simple way. Ramakrishna Paramahamsa tells, every day you must do consciously some good act of service. You must give. Give something or other. What you can give? If you have money, somebody is in great need, give the money. If you have clothes, somebody wants, give the clothes. If somebody doesn't have shelter, you can give them. Nothing is there. Then, patram, pushpam, phalam, toyam, yome bhaktya prayachati. He said, no. Give a leaf, a flower, a cup of water. Anything you can give. Develop the habit of giving. Not occasionally, once in a month, once in a year. No, every day. You must develop that habit to give and give and give. No? Then your wrong habits will go down. When you develop the positive things, negative things automatically go. You have darkness everywhere. But you go on complaining, saying, so much of darkness, so much of darkness, so much of darkness. Will it help? Bring the light, automatically darkness goes. So, in your system, you have got all pollution, dirt and everything, and you start bringing the light within you. That light is going to remove all the darkness. So, start doing 3 acts of good service. Consciously, apart from your duty. We all have our duties, we have our responsibilities, we are doing that. When you start doing something extra, consciously, with an understanding that you are doing it for your own development, then yoga starts. Then the real pilgrimage starts. Going to various places like Kashi, Kanyakumari, the Rameshwaram, all these things are good outside. But the real pilgrimage is this transformation. Our transformation to move towards the higher levels. To manifest that divinity, to move towards that divinity is that. Therefore, continuously do 3 things. That transforms you from the kama to the level of what we call prema. From the gross love to the divine love and the real love. As proverb says, a friend in need is a friend indeed. A friend raises himself to the level of prema from his normal level of friendship. What is that normal level of friendship? Always, I love you because there are some common factors. You also like Carnatic music, I also love Carnatic music, therefore we become good friends. You like masala dosa and he also like masala dosa, I become good friends. Masala dosa friends. Or gulab jamun friends. Or rasgulla friends. No? Or samosa friends. No? All types of things. Common likes and common dislikes. Similarly, you don't like her and he also doesn't like. Therefore, these two people will become friends. Common dislikes. I don't like this person, So he also doesn't like. Therefore, we become chums. So this is the gross form of friendship. This is how we all become friends. Good. Nothing wrong in it. In this friendship, always there is expectation of a return. We become good friends, therefore I will give you a nice party. And I expect that you also should give me a party. Reasonable. Otherwise I will not be spending the money for you, and if you don't spend, what is it? Very unjust. Very unlawful. Therefore expectation of a return is the key feature of this friendship. I will say, okay, I have given you, I am waiting for 1 week, you have not given me a party. Therefore slowly our friendship reduces. Once more I will give you, but still you don't give me a party, then our friendship breaks. Because I am expecting that you should return. Whatever I have given, you are not giving. This is the gross friendship. Expectation of a return. Pratiphala apeksha. You keep that. Krishna says, from there you go to the next level. That's called prema. In which, without expecting anything in return, you go on giving and giving and giving. That's called the prema bhava. Every mother does this. Mother does it for the child. The vatsalya bhava. In which she goes on giving and giving and giving and giving. Without expecting anything in return. But if she has a motive, okay, my son is going to grow up and in my old age he is going to take care of me. Therefore I am doing all this. You have come down in your friendship, in your love. You have become gross love, kama, it is called. So, the real friendship is in giving, 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 giving. Imagine in a society, majority of the people are belonging to this category of prema bhava. Giving and giving and giving. What a wonderful society it will be. Everybody wants to give more and more, more and more, more people. Without expecting anything in return. That is an ideal society. Adarsha Samaj will get created in the whole process. That is what we had created in this country. India is known for this tyaga. Prema equal to kama plus tyaga. That is giving, sacrifice. Tyaga and seva are the twin ideals of India. Channelize India into these, and India will become the best of the societies of the world. Swami Vivekananda has given. India will not be made by building skyscrapers. India will not be made if India becomes an economic superpower. India will not be made if it becomes a defense superpower. India will be made only when you bring it to its roots. Renunciation and service are the twin ideals of India. Channelize India and India will be made. How can this happen? Be and make. Each one of us should start transforming ourselves and move towards these higher heights of giving and giving. We want that India should become great, then what should we do? Every one of us should start working for this giving, giving, giving. We have to change our habits. Habits die hard. Very difficult to change habits. Always you want. Can you change that to give instead of grab? Then Bhakti Yoga starts. Then from Prema Bhava you have to go to the next level in which you have to give up your preferences. Prapatti Bhava, Sharanagati Bhava, surrender. Surrender is the process of expansion. Very difficult to surrender our ego because we think it is going to mar our individual traits and specialities and qualities. On the contrary, Swami Vivekananda gives us the great secret. Surrender is expansion. By the process of surrender, by giving up our ego, your personality expands. And that expansion is the one that brings the divinity to manifest more and more. Therefore, rise from prema to bhakti. From a real friend, you should become a devotee. To whom do you surrender? Maybe your Ishtadevata, or maybe role model of a person whom you like. Your father, your mother, your brother, your sister, your friend, your teacher, your professor, anybody. You can take as your role model and start surrendering. By so doing, you are going to tune yourself to the higher entity, higher cosmic realities. And all those things will come. It is something like tuning a radio. When you tune your radio to BBC, all the information BBC is going to come to you. In the same way, when you tune your mind to your Ishtadevata or your role model of a person, all those qualities are going to come to you. If you are tuning yourself to Hanuman, all his Hanuman Shakti is going to come to you. You tune to Saraswati, your Ishtadevata, all the wisdom of Saraswati is going to come to you. Lakshmi, Saraswati, Sri Rama, Krishna, any god you can choose. Christ, embodiment of love, all the tremendous love he had can come into you. This is how the bhakti will start raising you to the higher level. From there, you go into the what is called Sakshatkara. In the Sakshatkara, there is an expansion of your personality, there is a sudden quantum jump, there is an explosion, there is an inner explosion that takes place. You start raising to the higher level of consciousness. From Annamaya Kosha, you start moving towards Pranamaya, Manomaya, Vijnananandamaya Kosha. And grow higher and higher until you reach that Moksha Sthiti, or the complete merger with the totality. This is the whole journey which has been shown here in the schematic. In the 18 verses, Krishna brings about this entire dimension in such vividity, clarity and scientific grandeur. You must understand each and every shloka and see that it comes into our life. Practicing should come up. Let's contemplate on the thoughts. Sit tight, with the eyes closed. Relax all parts of the body. Take a deep breath and slowly breathe out. Beautiful smile on the face. Recognize your Daivi Sampat and Asuri Sampat. Can you make a resolve that yes, I am going to develop my Daivi Sampat by doing 3 acts of good service. Giving. Contributing to the society, contributing to the organization, contributing to the surrounding. You find a lot of plastic things are here and there. Take it and put it into a basket, a dustbin. That is an act of service. Anything that you do using your own creativity will bring about the real transformation. Daivi Sampat is going to come up. From Asuri Sampat to Daivi Sampat. Please write down in your diary every day what are the 3 acts of service you did. You will see a remarkable change in just 15 days, in a week, in a month. Namaskar Mudra. Om.